In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E.
Happy day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In Full Zoom. I'm your host, Nestor Licanto, and this week we're going to talk about the Guam International Film Festival. And my guests are Myracle Mugol and Larry Lizama, who are coordinating this event. And let me start with you, Myracle. Tell us a little bit about this year's gift.
Sure, happy day. So I'm the project manager for GIF 11 this year. It's a smaller festival this time around, so unfortunately we'll only be able to capture the CNMI and Guam audiences for this festival because of the nature of COVID. It is smaller compared to last year's virtual event, but it's jam-packed with talented filmmakers and films from 34 different people. So. And I think I want to throw it to him for the theme because we quoted him in the article.
All right, Larry, we're switching it over to you. Tell us a little bit more about this year's festival.
Yeah, so actually the theme is new voices. So when you think about new voices, you think about how we're bringing in newer stories and newer experiences, especially with the growing film industry on island and in the Pacific. It's so important to have those new voices and to be able to add to the story of Pacific filmmaking. So it's really exciting, especially this being my first year to help out. I'm actually the technical coordinator this year. So I'll be helping them in terms of the virtual stuff. So it's just really exciting to be a part of it.
And
yeah,
so
what's
he's our new voice.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's our new voice.
Tell us a bit more, elaborate on that, Larry. What does the technical director do?
Yeah, so pretty much I'm going to be helping them with the panel. I have like 3 panels that I'll be helping out with. And then in terms of like virtual events, that's just helping with like production of it, making sure everything runs smoothly when we do have the panels and that all the recordings are going through properly and all that.
Actually, I'm not correcting her. He's moderating 3 of them,
Oh, yeah.
but there's a total of, well, I think we have maybe 5 panels with the filmmakers and then 2 with the jury. So last year I was the sole moderator and I was in charge of tech. This year, because we have more panels and we wanted to kind of introduce Larry to this world. We're gonna have both of us kind of splitting the duties. And then those panels with the we call it the filmmakers are, do you want to know the titles for that, Nestor?
Sure, let's get to that in a moment. But what I wanted to ask you about first was, just to set it up, the conversation up, is I know you've been involved in GIF for a number of years, and it was started originally by the Munya brothers. Tell us a little bit about the history of the festival, why it started, and what was its purpose then.
Man, I wish one of them were here. Well, it was started to give a platform for the filmmakers. Like oftentimes it's so, to create a full-length movie is an investment. To create a short movie, even create a music video is an investment. And so, this year they pulled on me and Lawrence here because we're filmmakers as well. And so I think in order for this community to thrive, we need to help each other. So the Munya brothers started it 11 years ago, to showcase the talent on Guam, specifically from film. We don't have much outlets, so we created our own platform. And when we hit the 10 years, and the fact that we have international films trying to get into our film festival establishes us. So last year was actually the most entries we got submitted ever. And I think we had more than 30 different countries involved last year. This year we had to scale down a little bit, but we're still going. I think we don't want to lose that momentum. I've been on and off with them since the 3rd year, I believe, but as a filmmaker, I was on their 2nd film festival. I was with my first full-length film there. And from there, I've just been entering more and more, but it's basically that, give a place for people in Guam and our region to be able to showcase.
Yeah, tell us a bit about the selection process, how films are vetted that will actually get into the festival.
Sure. Well, I myself am not part of that. Neither is he. I think there's a specific curation board that even I'm not familiar with, and they review all the films, and there's a specific deadline. We go through, I believe it's filmfreeway.com. There's a deadline, and then they submit, and then our curation panel looks through it, and then they are told whether or not they make it in or not.
Yeah.
And also
Go ahead.
it has to reflect the theme. So this year was new voices, so the emphasis is new filmmakers. So
In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E.
Yeah, let's dig deeper into that theme. What is that all about?
well, I think so are you asking me as a representative of the film festival, or are you asking me as an artist?
Both, actually. And Larry can jump in too.
Well, I'm gonna let him talk as a new person, but for us, we often saw that the same filmmakers would submit, and so we kind of kept it where we wanted to invite new people. We originally we wanted to kind of even have a contest where we wanted younger filmmakers to come out and be part of this, how do I call this, the filmmaking world on Guam, and even our region. But because we are still in this kind of pandemic, we are still in the pandemic. We had to stick to the virtual event that we decided that we're just going to go and send out the invite to submit with the focus for new voices. Even our team is new. So along with Larry, we have Tiana Yanger and we have Laika Santos, who are new to the team. So everything about now is new voices, new perspectives, but still kind of sticking to the idea of storytelling, what is the stories that is from home and from where people come from. You can
Larry, as a newbie, tell us what your experience has been.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, like I said, New Voices is bringing up the stories of those that are really just starting to come into the film industry. Like myself, I'm just starting as well, but them providing me that opportunity where there is a space for me to, I guess, grow my own skills and then also be able to network with these established filmmakers in the Pacific region or even over in Japan, wherever it is, like just having that exposure and those opportunities is something that's so great and also needed to show the younger filmmakers like, hey, there's a route for you to take. This path is here for you. It's laid out for you. You just gotta, put yourself out there. And even when you do put yourself out there, make sure you're staying true to yourself and expressing yourself in your most sincere form.
As filmmakers, what attracted you to filmmaking?
You want to go first? Man, I don't think I've been asked that in years. Masochism? I'm kidding. Storytelling. I think it's not easy, like Don and Cal will tell you it's not an easy thing, like to fall in love with this kind of passion, it's not a hobby, it's a passion. To fall in love with this work, to fall in love with this kind of what do you call it? I guess I don't know, to fall in love with this way of life is intense. Like there's a lot of sacrifices to it, but I think what it is, it's the storytelling, it's the ability to make something and have it represent not just you, but beyond you, represent your community, represent it's like you're giving birth to a whole new thing that will live longer than you. And for me, it's always been about storytelling. For me, it's always about solving a problem. Like I started off with documentaries. So for me, it was finding something, learning why, and then finding out like, how do we showcase this? How do we solve this? How do we, make people more aware of it? So that's for me, it's the storytelling and just creating something for my community.
Yeah.
And you, Larry?
For me, it was really because I'm really a cultural like advocate in so many different like aspects, but with filmmaking, what really got me started about thinking about going into it was I was always thinking like, man, there's no film about this, about the Marianas, or there's no film about this in the Pacific. I had to stop thinking like, oh, someone needs to create this, but where I can create it myself now, where I take the initiative to stop waiting around for something to happen and make it happen. So that's how I really got into it, and the passion just keeps growing, just seeing all these different filmmakers and artists.
Yeah. What have you seen, Miracle, as the response to the film festivals over the years from the public?
From the public, they want more. I think that's what it is. Especially last year. Last year was a bit hard for us because it was virtual, right? It was easy and hard at the same time. Easy because you didn't have to leave your house to watch it. We were on TV and we were on YouTube. Hard because you didn't get to hang out after the showing and talk to the filmmakers. Like, as someone being part of GIF, one of my favorite things was the talking stories after, the very island style
Yeah.
talking stories after the screening, and you all stay back and then you end up at Linda's or something. But we didn't have that. But the response was they want more. They want more screenings. They want more access to local films. They want more local films to be created. And also, and the other thing was more people want to get into films. More people want to learn how to do this. And, in previous years, GIF did the education aspect of it as well. We had workshops with Brian Munya and James Davis. We've had people from Pixar who were originally from Guam come back here and talk about you could even do this in animation and stuff. I hope I answered that question right.
Yeah. What would be your advice to aspiring filmmakers who right now have absolutely no experience but would like to get into it?
For me or for him or both of us?
For both of you.
Do it. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is it sucks, but then you just show it to people who. The one thing about Guam that's great is you find someone that's already kind of quote unquote established and you show them your film. They're not going to be like, oh, it sucks, I don't want to help you. They'll go, well, you need to work on this. Like, if you want to do this, like technical stuff. Like I think one of my best conversations are with other filmmakers on Guam because we see that it's a win-win situation. Like, if you do well as a Guam filmmaker, we do well as a film community on Guam. So there's a support that goes around it. And I think in one of the past interviews for GIF, I remember saying that GIF is not just a festival, it's a reunion, it's a platform, but it's also a cocoon for talent. And so I feel like if you want to, you approach any of these local filmmakers that are quote unquote established, and they will give you advice. They will tell you how to move forward. So find a mentor, just do it. And if you feel comfortable, submit it.
In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E.
And Larry, how about you? Did you seek out a mentor, or you just kind of went at it on your own?
Well, actually, it was actually when I did Harlem Heights series for Sanctuary that I met Myracle. And she's kind of been my mentor throughout this because she saw the work I was doing with Sanctuary, and she really took me under her wing. And like she said, it's not like, I gave her something and she's like, oh, this sucks, I'm not going to help you. She really has helped me grow my skills, like just in this past, I don't know, a year that we've known each other. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. What have been the biggest? Yeah. What have been the biggest challenges, though?
For filmmakers on Guam, or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it differs, right? Like weather is a huge thing. Like we don't have in-house studios. It's sunny in the morning and it'll start raining the next day. So schedules, no one is ever full-time. Not many people are full-time filmmakers, right? A lot of us, we're weekend warriors half the time. Actually, no, 75% of the time we're weekend warriors. We're shooting our movies on weekends and holidays and at night.
Yeah.
Another thing is equipment. There's no real place to purchase equipment in Guam. A lot of it is like, hey, bro, can I borrow your lab for this weekend? I gotta shoot. I'll let you borrow my LED lights. I heard you're shooting here. So again, it goes back to community. That's the saving grace for a lot of this. We borrow from each other, both equipment and tips and advice.
Yeah. But speaking of equipment, it has become easier because the technology has enabled you. I mean, like you can do a movie, I presume, on, mostly an iPhone. If the technology exists, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's easier, but then you also so technology makes it easier, but then you need to refine the story part of it, of course, right? Anyone can shoot a video, a TikTok video. Everyone can do an Instagram story, but I think what we always forget that a movie has that storyline,
Yeah.
and that's something that you need to have. So, one of the other things that a movie needs would be an editor or a writer. Like, you could be really good at shooting it and it's a great composition, but if your story's not there, it's not going to complete the film.
Yeah, it needs to be well-rounded in all of those different aspects. Look at us. We haven't even talked about the films that are going to be in the festival. Tell us more about the films. What are some of the highlights?
Well, we have the not typical, but of course, one of the most exciting parts of the festival is our Maiden Marianas I guess, division. We have 4 films that are up for the award, but we have a few others that are related to the Chamorro and region itself. Kantan Hareru, I'm doing this in a little bias, but it's the Blacksmith Song by Lizama. But we also have Good by Roselle Elmans. And then, it touches on very serious topics, right? So like Roselle's own is addressing mental health through film, which is good. And then Kantan Hareru, it's, and people will be able to see a panel that he's going to moderate that's talking about the value of preserving traditions in the modern world. And so Kantan Hareru is part of that, along with 2 other films. And so he's going to have a chance to talk to the filmmakers with that.
Yeah.
And of
Tell
course,
us some more about the plots of these films.
Sure.
We want to whet the appetite of the viewing audience.
Sure. Which one did you want to talk about?
Pick one that stood out to you and tell us a little bit more about the plot so that we can generate that interest.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk about that one. Yeah. I don't know.
Hard to pick.
We just finished we watched a good chunk of we haven't watched all of it, but we watched the ones that our panels are doing.
Yeah.
Do you want to our loved one?
Talk about that if you want.
So there was one called I can't pronounce the word for it, but it's also called Our Love, and it's this great documentary about a Tokelauan family that moved to New Zealand, and it talks about the adaptation of culture despite moving. And so this family moves to New Zealand for a reason, like a reason for one of their children. And it showcases how they were able to not only preserve their culture, but their language through song. And that was cool. Like for us who, for many of us who are cultural artists or who believe in preserving culture or cultural sustainability, that hits home for me and him. Another one that was really good was Ushiku by Thomas Ashe. This falls under he's the one that went into the immigration.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that one? Sure.
Yeah, so he went into the Japanese immigration center. There was actually just one immigration center that he went to that was in the Ushiku prefecture. So that whole story, I mean, the filmmaking was intense just because he had to sneak in a camera to this place, and him being able to document the stories of the pretty much refugees that are entering Japan. Some of them have stayed there for 5 to 6 years, and they're getting treated as if it's like a federal prison or something. So just the visuals alone in that, it was just so crazy to see, and him bringing that story forward through just a phone or whatever small hidden camera he had was, yeah, it was amazing.
And then we saw like the social justice that he did working because of that film and working with the senators in Japan. And then of course the happier kind of stories, because we got a little bit deep. There was a like the content.
No, you have me intrigued. See, now you're talking about it. You're telling us what's on. You got me intrigued. Now I gotta watch it. Go ahead.
And then the Constant Her, the blacksmith song is the story of corned beef Lizama, and how as he's the last master blacksmith, and kind of like telling us the legend of the blacksmith song, but at the same time talking about what's the nature of blacksmithing in Guam, the history and all that stuff. And this was funded by PIC, the Pacific Islanders in Communication. So those are 3 films that we have. There's maybe 31 other films that are in the festival, and then you could find that all on the website, and you can pick which one you want to watch as well.
In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises Inc. and IT&E.
Yeah, it sounds, just those 3 alone just sounds so intriguing. And you've got entrants from all over the world. List some of the countries that other countries that are entries.
Philippines, Spain, South Korea, Japan, US, New Zealand, we mentioned that one. CNMI, we have a story again from Galvin de Leon Guerrero. And Tomas Magloria.
Hey, I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy. That's our own Tomas Magloria. Yeah, very talented young man. Absolutely.
I know there's Canada, there's Papua New Guinea. The other countries are slipping my mind, but those are like top of mind right now. So. Yeah,
and these are kind of, we hear about film festivals and in the States like Tribeca and Sundance, and you guys have tried to kind of create our own local sort of Tribeca and Sundance, correct?
Yes, so actually a lot of us, we try to partner with other film festivals. So to talk about our alumni and where they are now. So an example, I want to bring it up. I think I'm going to mess it up a little bit, but so we just found out that some of our alumni were able to move to other film festivals that are connected through the Pacific Islanders Communication channel. The How to Catch a Tautamuna film with Neil was just in the LA Asian American Pacific Film Festival. And then we had, what's his name? Alika. He just had a film that was Molokai Bound, was just awarded $500,000 of funding from a Google kind of fund that happened. It's I know we shared it in one of our stories, but we're excited that a lot of our alums are kind of like moving forward, and of course we list some of those achievements on our website as well. But yeah, like we try to push forward, and a lot of that help comes from our grand jury as well.
All right. So we got a couple of minutes left, so I'll give you one more opportunity to pitch the film festival. Tell us why we should be watching it and how.
You can do that.
Yeah, so this year's film festival will be starting on November 5th through November 19th, every Friday and Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. And you can catch it on PBS or the PBS app. Unfortunately, there's no access outside of the Marianas. So yeah, that is all Guam time and NMI access only.
Yeah, and you should watch it because because if you want to watch good content, good storytelling, good movies, then just check us out. The app is free. It's and then I feel like we invest so much on all these like Avengers movies. Why not invest some time in some local stuff and some regional stuff and independent films?
All right. And best of luck to both of you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and then our
Myracle-
website.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Guam International Film Festival.org for all the information and how to download the app.
All right. Myracle Mugol and Larry Lizama, thanks for joining us. They are with the Guam International Film Festival coming up in November. I'm Nestor Licanto. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next week on In Full Zoom.
In Full Zoom is presented by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. and IT&E.